Friends, hello and welcome back. Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic day. So today we're going to go over what are some of the best sets to do, what are some things to avoid entering NHL 24. Now, first and foremost, obviously, it's your decision to play this game however you want, do what you want. If there's certain things you want to go after, hey, go after them. Don't let me tell you whether you should or shouldn't do them, right? Just keeping it completely clear, completely honest. You do you do whatever makes you the happiest playing this video game. But of course, if you're coming across this video, you might be feeling like I did when I first got into this game, and a lot of others too. It's like there's a lot going on in this game. It can be overwhelming when you look at everything going on to start HUT this year. It's like, what should I go after? There's training camp sets, there's exchange sets, there's power up team building, power up icon set. There's so much here. There's all the moment stuff. Which moment category should we start in? All this. There's a lot, and it's like, all right, what should we work towards? What might be some things to avoid? Because the time's important. You don't want to put too much time into something that it's not going to put out the same value as something else. So today we're going to try to do our best to decipher and go through all of this stuff, at least from a sets perspective. Obviously the 99, that's a long grind. I haven't even put much thought into it, to be honest. Yeah, I know that's not going to be something you can get right away, and I know it's something that's going to take some time, and it takes a lot of the XP stuff. So that's kind of like I looked at it for a good time. Like, I bet you can't even acquire it. Training camp sets. Now, typically training camp stuff, again, now you're going to get some collectibles. So it's your choice to kind of use those collectibles however you choose here. And this is the first thing I'm going to say. And I think this is really important. And this is why we said, play the game that makes it in a way you enjoy it. I think it's really important to understand that EA's content's going to be just like it was last year by the looks of it, where they're really pushing the power-up stuff. So whether it be power-up training camp players, power-up icons, X-Factor power-ups, that seems to be a featured set. The new sets that come out, like maybe a Halloween X-Factor, if we get that, or power-up. That seems to be the thing again this season. And if you're newer to the game, or maybe you didn't play HUT a lot last year, maybe you did play HUT last year and you kind of understand this, it can start to feel a little tedious. It can start to feel a little repetitive, a little strenuous once you have an entire team of all these power-up players, because right now you can get these power-up players and it only takes one collectible or two collectibles, but it gets to a point where they cost 4, then 5, then 6, and it really feels like you're grinding this game for a collectible and not really a player. And it can really start to feel like a grind to keep up with the best player. So for that reason, I think it's a good idea to kind of look at all those power-ups and say, you don't have to have the player, just have the player because he's in a set. My biggest advice going into this season is looking at all these power-up players and finding guys you like. Yeah, if there's players, maybe it's your favorite team, maybe it's players that look like really sick cards going forward. It's like, all right, let me go after that. I'm really big on it this year, where I'm trying to keep my team in the 2 to 5 power-up players range to start the year. Because otherwise, if we go after every single one of these, it's like, all right, now we have like 8, 9, 10 of them. All of a sudden, you start investing your coins and stuff into all of them. And then a month later, it's like, oh, there's a new Orensky out that I want. Or, oh, there's a new Beniers out that I really want. They don't have a card yet. It's like, okay, I want to get that power up one. It's like, well, you put all that time and effort into these other ones. You lost your collectibles. So I think it's really good to try to build a balance. Obviously, if you just have the coins laying around, hey, go right ahead. You have the players go laying around, go right ahead. But I think a lot of us, especially with like the X-Factor sets, I think it's a perfect example of what I was kind of talking about. There's an X-Factor player choice set. It's 40, 50 gold players. I know a lot of people love doing this. And hey, if that's what you want to do, go after it. But what we learned last year, and even what we're learning this year, is it's really easy to obtain X-Factor set players, or it's really easy to obtain power-up players, I should say. I mean, even if we just look at something as simple as the HUT moments, I mean, you have the training camp moments, you have Makari's greatest moments, you have the X-Factor moments there that gets you the X-Factor, you have the ultimate moments that gets you the power-up icon. There's stuff all over the place that gets you collectibles for these X-Factors. Not to mention already, the stuff you get day one, you get the day one pack opening X-Factor, you're going to get some stuff from other things. So for me personally, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to tell you, just from personal experience last year, all my players are X-Factors, and it got to a point really quick where it's like, I can't upgrade these guys unless I get collectibles. It did get a little bit strenuous to an extent, because I think you want to, when you have all those X-Factors, like, oh, I put all that time and that effort and that money into these players, I want to put a perfect balance to all of them and upgrade them all. And the fact of the matter is, it costs a lot to upgrade them all. It gets to the point Or again, it plus 2 overall points could be 4 collectibles, 5 collectibles. That's 9 collectibles. You consider 25k a collectible. That's 175k. You can dang near just buy the player off the auction house for the same price, sell them later, and you have to put hundreds and hundreds of thousands of players into it. But at the same time, we are going to get a lot of untradeable stuff. There are going to be a lot of opportunities to get these players, use these players, and we all should use those players. They're a big luxury to the game. So for that reason, I think it's good to have the balance. So for me, the X Factor sets, that's what I'm avoiding. It's that 50 player choice set because, again, there's a chance you can pull a goalie. There's some players that aren't good enough to be on your team where it's like, oh, the size ain't there, the speed ain't there, maybe the shot ain't there. There's a lot that can just be like, eh. I think more important is like there's some players too. Again, if you like every single X Factor, you look at all of them, like I like every player, then go for it. But I think because there's so many power-ups in this game where there can be so many players you enjoy playing with, and there's so many players that you say, oh, that could be a nice card. I don't think there's a reason to stretch for the X Factor. If the X Factor is the only set out there, then I could understand it. But because there's so many of these other ones, like the power-up icons is the same way. You have so many power-up icon choice set packs. I would say just attack the ones you're into, and I'd say focus in on one. There's no right answer here. The vintage power-ups and all this, they're all roughly the same price. And you're going to put in the players. And again, you're getting the 82 to 84 vintage power. My thing is here, I would be concerned. This is why I would be patient with this. The power-up icons. The icons are a little different as far as upgrades are concerned. So I would definitely focus. If I was going to pick a power-up or pick icons, I would still look X Factors. I would still look team building. Because the thing with the icons, it's a little bit more unpredictable if EA is going to give them a +2 overall in a month or 2 months or 3 months. Whereas, like the X Factors are live players. And they're going to be out there for a while. The team building sets, the players tend to be pretty good for a while. And once they do get that upgrade again, they'll go from an 87 probably to a 90 or something. So they'll always be good players. And the thing I like about the X Factors or the team building right now, 87. I mean, they're top of the line players right now in this game. 87 overall is a premier overall to start this game. And you essentially need to complete 6 collections, which comes out to 25 player items. Honestly, because you need a lot of 74s, you should be able to come close to, if you're 59 minute marking, 80 plus is all you need. You should be able to come close to spending 22k. We'll lowball, we'll say 20k a set. So if you say that's 20 times 6, so 120k. So for 120k, you can get one of the 87 overalls, which is a heck of a deal. I think when you consider a lot of these power ups, even some of the 84 power ups, 85 or so, going for 140, 150k. So I think it's an excellent deal. I really like that, and that's before they get upgraded to the 87s, right? Which might cost you a couple points more. I mean, just get an idea here. We can look at one of these guys. I think is it the Ultimate that has them, or is it the other one? It might be this one. It might be both. But this would be a good example here. You got the 85s. How about the Chelios up here on the auction house? He currently is not on the auction house. That was not going to be a good example, apparently. Here we go. Here's one. 190, 190, 180, 180. Now, keep in mind, it's day one. They are going to go down eventually. But, even if they sit 100K, even if they sit 125, Chelsea 85, you want to upgrade them 2 power-up collectibles are 40K. You want to upgrade them 2 power-up collectibles are 50K. So that's 90K. 90K or a couple, just to upgrade it to the 87 from 85. So you're going to pay, again, that 190K plus the 90K, that's 300K. You can get the team builder set for that overall for almost a third of that. So I think when it comes to sets, the team builders is the way to start here this season, especially if you're real. Again, this is why I said it's like a big preference thing. It's like there's some players out there you really want, you enjoy. I think that's really important when you play the game. Is you want to build the ultimate team, but you also want to build a team you love and thoroughly enjoy playing with. You just don't want to build a bunch of guys that's like, I never heard of this guy, or I'm not a big fan of. You just have them on a team, because then it's like, I don't know. That's a personal preference, I guess. Like, yeah, it's a preference, but keeping all that in mind, we said the same thing with these. Power-up icons is, if you really, really want those players, I mean, hey, go for it. But otherwise, like, you got to be kind of patient. Look for what's the best bang for your buck. You can get a couple 87s for the price of, one. I'd be jumping all over that. So I'm looking at the team building sets right now. I think those are excellent. And I think the X Factors, again, at a methodical pace, it's great. There's stuff you can unlock. And I think, again, it's good to be able to use your player trade-ins. I think the team building is that the same way, right? It's good to be able to use your player trade-ins for your untradeable players and put those into these sets for the collectibles so you can continuously upgrade them, because you are going to have to do that and upgrade them. So it's like, would you rather have another X Factor with those 50 players, or would you rather have the collectible for the 30, or maybe a collectible and a half, whatever it comes out to be, to upgrade some of the other ones? Because once you get a lot, it can be overwhelming, or it can be really easy. And I think that would be my best tip starting out the season, is like, hey, you can always, they're not going anywhere. None of these players are going anywhere. It doesn't need to be a game of let me see how many X factors I can have to start the year. Let me see. Yeah, it's more of a game of let's see what we can maintain. But if you want a bunch of X factors, again, go after it. You want a bunch of power up collectibles, go after it. But that's the way I'm looking at it this year. I'm saying, hey, I can build a solid team of base. You know, right now the base players are really effective, and there's going to come a time when there's featured cards out that'll still be effective. But I think it's a game of being a little bit patient there. As far as the exchange sets go, I know people love the exchange sets. I typically avoid them. This is 80 or overall or higher. It's a 2-player gold player premium pack. Now the odds are a little bit better being untradeable, but it's still 10K you're putting in there. So you're putting 10K in, and I always try to remind people this. Okay, I know people get good pools, but let's say 1 in 5. 1 in 5 times you do this, you get a good pool. That's 50K every time. So is a player worth 50K? 1 in 10 times 100K, so on and so forth. Now, if you feel unlucky, feeling great, go for it. But again, you got to weigh in. You got so many other things to use those players, even if they're untradeable goals. You got so many other things to use those for. In this case, is that 50K? You know, if you do this 5 times, it's 50K. You could have put that into an entire collectible or a collectible and a half, whatever it comes out to be, and guaranteed the upgrade for another player. So I think that's important to remember there. For me personally, I avoid that. The same can be said about the guarantee 85s. I mean, it takes 384s, which typically comes out to be a loss. Same can be said here about 483s, typically turns to be a loss. Now, of course, this is again where it's important, where a lot of sets don't require the 83 plus, 84 plus, and 80. You know, 83s right now at least 9-10K. You wouldn't want to put that into an X Factor reroll or a power up icon thing where it's like you need an 81 plus and 81 plus only because you can get, you know, 7 81s or 82s for the price of 183. In that case, you just sell the 83. But if it's untradeable, still has a lot of value being an 83. So that's when you say, all right, let me look at a set like this, or be patient. Be patient with the 83 overalls. And eventually they might release some sort of set that requires an 83. But that pretty much wraps up everything, I think, with the sets. There's the power up sets. Again, you know, I think these are nice sets. The power up collectible sets are great because you have the 82 plus for 15 of them. That's a good value. I think a lot of the days you can pick them 82s up for, you know, K on the marketplace when the packs are coming out, or 1200, which is a great deal. Because again, if you look and say 80 pluses, you're going to pay 900 to 1,000 as well. You're talking 30, 35K. So you're getting a good deal there with that 15 on the 82 pluses. That's the one I think I really like honing in on. And I just look to spend there. If you ever have to spend coins on players. Nonetheless, though, that wraps things up. Hope you guys found this video helpful. As always, if you enjoy the video, I'd appreciate you consider subscribing, liking the video. You never have to, though. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.